In a galaxy far, far away, the Jedi are nearly universally considered the good guys. In fandom, the lines seem to blur a bit. Since Obi-Wan first uttered the line, "from a certain point of view," people have started doubting the Jedi's honesty and motivations, and this only became exacerbated in the tragedy that was Anakin Skywalker's life throughout the prequels. Many charges have been levied against them over the years. Warmongers, baby snatchers, but there's one which has gained considerable traction. The Jedi are a cult. They have to be a cult, many declare, because they wear monk-like robes, lecture about the dangers of emotion and attachments, and dare to criticize Hayden Christensen about his tendency to sacrifice the galaxy for his wife. Which, to be fair, we'd probably consider it too. Come on, it's Natalie Portman. Still, the charge is as false as it is popular. When comparing Jedi history, protocols, and philosophy against what is widely accepted to be the primary elements that determine whether an organization or group displays cult-like behavior, it becomes clear that the Jedi Order is as far from being a cult as possible. So, without further ado, CultureSlate presents 7 reasons the Jedi are objectively not a cult. Number 1. The group is focused on a living leader to whom members seem to display excessively zealous, unquestioning commitment. Now, technically, by the time Order 66 was put into action, Mace Windu was the master of the Order and leader of the High Council, doing his best to guide them through the galaxy's turmoil. However, when thinking about who leads the Jedi as it is, many fans immediately think of the famous wizened Grand Master, Yoda. Of course, where this gets tricky is that the Jedi High Council, while the most famous, isn't the only, nor do they make unquestionable decrees. 3 other councils, First Knowledge, Reconciliation, and Reassignment, by and large handle the day-to-day aspects of the Order, while the High Council tends to handle interactions with the galaxy at large. Furthermore, while Yoda is charismatic, he's not all-powerful or unquestioned. His word is heavily considered, but the fact that they literally go ahead and hospitalize him while he's having his fainting vision spells during the Clone Wars, even though he argues otherwise, says they don't conflate his word with an all-powerful edict. Furthermore, while his voice is influential, he can and has been outvoted before. While he disagreed with allowing young Anakin Skywalker to become Obi-Wan Kenobi's apprentice, he was ultimately overruled by the other members. After all, with 11 other members, even their tendency to meditate and insight into the Force's workings doesn't mean the group always acts as a singular body. Number 2. Questioning, doubt, and dissent are discouraged or even punished. Questioning everything is what they're encouraged to do. They're philosophers and researchers, with some masters spending their entire lives dedicating to studying their fields of choice. They are also encouraged to look beyond the face value of matters on a practical level. Jedi diplomats and ambassadors examine treaties in the political arena to determine the best possible solution on a multi-term level, and those such as the Jedi Shadow utilize their abilities to investigate cases and unusual threats to the Republic. Qui-Gon Jinn was almost infamous for questioning the Council all the time, and even though they thought him reckless, they never stifled, silenced, or cast him out. On the other end of the spectrum, Count Dooku leaving with 19 others over disagreements about the Jedi's role in the Republic was not only accepted but mourned, becoming known as the Lost 20. Number 3. Mind-numbing techniques such as meditation, chanting, speaking in tongues, denouncing sessions, and debilitating work routines are used to suppress doubts about the group and its leaders. The Jedi do not use drugs or force to keep their members in line. Such coercion and loss of will go strictly against their tenets. The Jedi are well known for their utilization of meditation, but this is hardly a nefarious attempt to control their members. As empaths and minor telepaths on the most densely populated planets in the galaxy, learning to block out the world around them is vital for their mental health, or else they'd all go mad. Plus, meditation, even in real life, is a practice utilized by all walks for relaxation and mental clarity. The Jedi seek this mental clarity constantly to ensure their own power is not misused in ill thought or chaotic fits of pique or malice. Inner reflection allows for emotional stability and rationale, a vital element for a peacekeeper. And it's not as if their methods of meditation are forcibly uniform. Jedi are encouraged to meditate in whichever manner suits them. While we tend to see the lotus style or the floating style, other forms, such as moving meditation, are something regularly practiced by many Jedi. Number 4. The leadership dictates, sometimes in great detail, how members should think, act, and feel. For example, members must get permission from leaders to date, change jobs, and get married. Leaders may prescribe what types of clothes to wear, where to live, how to discipline children, and so forth. Now, in the fandom, The issue of marriage within the Jedi tends to ruffle a few feathers. After all, Anakin famously and poorly hides his marriage from the Jedi Order, fearing their reprimand. But as we see from the likes of Ki-Adi-Mundi or Nija Halcyon, the issue the Jedi don't have is with a person getting married or having children. It's that, given they have taken oaths to put the livelihoods, safety, and prosperity of others over their own lives, it is a bit difficult to do that when half your mind is focused purely on your spouse, your kids, and their benefit. Being a Jedi isn't a job so much as a way of life. Choosing that life means being part of and devoting yourself to something greater than your own wants, needs, and desires. A sacrifice that the Order acknowledges isn't for everyone and doesn't shame one for being unwilling or unable to adhere to those tenets. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you want to be a Jedi, it means giving that cake to the needy, no matter how scrumptious it may be. Now, when it comes to children, the Jedi are fiercely protective of their younglings. Many threw themselves in the line of fire during Order 66 simply to give their young the chance to escape and survive. Before that, the children are raised with attention and care, and later amongst peers called clans, where they learn to connect with each other and develop lifelong friendships, such as the case between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Quinlan Vos. As for attire, Anakin famously wears black upon receiving his knighthood. Ahsoka Tano and Shaak Ti have their whole outfit designed as homage to their culture, as does Aayla Secura and the aforementioned Vos. Plus, both Kifu like Vos and Miria lands like Luminara Unduli often get tattoos significant to their birth cultures. Number 5. The leadership induces guilt feelings in members in order to control them. Members' subservience to the group causes them to cut ties with family and friends, and members are encouraged or required to live and or socialize only with other group members. Jedi aren't discouraged from meeting their families or cultures. Ahsoka and Shaak Ti specifically go to their home planet of Sheely to hunt the tiger-like Akul as a cultural coming-of-age ceremony. Miria Land Jedi, like Barriss Offee and Luminara Unduli, traditionally take on other Miria Land Jedi to teach them cultural traditions and spirituality. Quinlan Vos spent years in contact with his parents before their murders, as he was the son of nobility. Any blood connections within the Order aren't suppressed either. The Thalathian Master Stas Ali was well known to be the cousin of Jedi High Council member Adi Gallia. Twin Force users Tipli and Tiplar were raised, trained, and fought together as co-generals during the Clone Wars. Nor are families ordered to give up children. Many consider it an honor to have a child be a Jedi Knight. Many others live in poor circumstances, and others knew that they couldn't teach their kids how to control their abilities. And even if they refused, canonically Jedi offered resources and alternatives to ensure the child grew up healthy and stable. Parents could even change their minds. When she discovered her child was alive and in Jedi custody after a devastating earthquake where she was presumed dead, Genova Belaine went on a massive campaign to get her daughter Luddy, now named Eris Del, back, culminating in a massive media campaign and sparking several protests. Plus, Jedi can literally feel each other's emotions. They don't go rushing home because for most of them, it is their home. Their friends, siblings, aunts, uncles, and grandparents all live in one place. Number 6. The group's members and leader are not accountable to any authorities. On the contrary, while the Order has historically dealt with their own criminals and enemies in-house, that doesn't mean they buck Republic authority. Their sometimes one-sided respect for the Republic, despite its many faults, means that much of their work is dedicated to upholding its ideals. As such, while they prefer to have a hand in the procedures, they will acquiesce to the demands of the Republic if need be. An infamous example can be seen during the trial of Padawan Ahsoka Tano. Falsely accused of terrorism and murder, the Jedi found themselves in an awkward position as the Republic official Wilhuff Tarkin called for her expulsion from the Order, so she could be tried in military courts. Reluctantly, the Order obeyed, stripping her of her rank. Furthermore, even though they often disagreed with many of his policies throughout the Clone Wars, top members of the Order such as Mace Windu and Grandmaster Yoda were still beholden to the orders of Chancellor Palpatine. Only when he revealed himself to be a Sith, who perpetrated a galactic war and is actively working to dismantle the Republic's democratic elements, did the Order move to arrest him. Number 7. The group has a polarized us versus them mentality which causes conflict with the wider society. This sort of mindset better fits the likes of the Sith than the Jedi. The Sith philosophy thrives on victim blaming and fear, covered by a veneer of hatred. They hide in the shadows until they are ready to rise in an explosive display of power and death. To the Sith, all of their atrocities come down to a matter of might makes right, survival at its peak. It's the galaxy's fault they don't understand this vital law of the universe. Those who don't seek power are jealous and weak, and those who actively shun it are fools. Even amongst themselves, it's every person for themselves. Be it a massive empire or a master and apprentice, betrayal and selfishness is a rite of passage. Compare this to the Jedi, who actively work with and consider themselves not as conquerors of the people, but servants of them, using their powers to spread relief, justice, and charity.